Form, the secret to make urban sketches come alive, instead of being too flat and too two-dimensional. As you know, we've covered a few of the ingredients for urban sketching. Today we'll be covering form. We have already covered line, shape, and space. Form, in essence, is the fleshing out into three-dimensional what essentially is a two-dimensional shape. Two-dimensional shapes, basically, the big three would be a square, a circle, and a triangle. When you think of three-dimensional square, it could be a cube or a cuboid, and for the circle, it could be a sphere or a cylinder. For a triangle, it could be a cone or a pyramid. It depends on how you look at it. If you're looking from the side, that's how you'll be seeing it. We'll be talking about how to create the sense of three-dimension from a two-dimensional shape. Three shapes that I've shown here: square, circle, and triangle. Essentially, you'll be using techniques to make your sketch come alive and more three-dimensional. But here's the problem. Traditionally, when you go to an art school, they will teach you how to draw shadows, and they will teach you the light source, the highlight, the full light, the center light, the halftone, terminator, form shadow, core shadow, cast shadow, gradient shadow, shadow edge, reflected light, occlusion shadow. Wow. By the time you finish understanding all these things, you will have your degree. Probably about 3 or 4 years of studies, or you get a headache, which is what I had when I was looking at it. I just want to do urban sketching. Easy peasy, going out there, enjoying myself. I've got a day job, right? I don't need this headache. So you guys gonna benefit from my simplification of the elements of form, and I'll just give you my summary, if you like, and there are only 3 things. What are they? Well, they are gradation, shadows, and lines, and let me break it down for you. Let's begin with gradation, and this is probably something that you already know, and I will simplify it further. Gradation is the moving from one color to the next and the easing of it in gradual form. We will use this photograph as an example, specifically the T mark in front, and we will show you how we can create three-dimensional form by gradating values. So an example of how to do this with a pen would be to use hashing lines. You can hash the side where it is darkest, and then double up on a hash on one side, and that kind of gradates it. You can do it in triple layers or quadruple layers, it doesn't matter, but that gives you gradation. The second approach is to use like a pencil line or graphite, and you can also sort of shade the darker side, and then you repeat on, and then gradually sort of just only leave the darkest part, or rather triple up on the darkest part. Of course, if you prefer watercolor, you can do that too. You can also use watercolor, which is actually quite an easy medium to do gradation. You can put a very dark spot on one edge of the T mark, and you can then use clear water, and the clear water would be to just wash away the soft edges. So you're leaving one side hard edge and the other side soft edge, and you can see the gradation will happen sort of naturally. You do need to learn how to control the water flow. The second point about form is shadows, and if you can get shadows right, which is actually complicated, you will be able to create a three-dimensional sense to your sketch. We will use this photograph as an example, specifically the shadow in front of the teapot. So in this next example, we are just going to do a very rough sketch of the teapot and its base. And basically what we're going to do is just to give a sense that if you get the shadows right, the three-dimensional sense of the teapot will turn up to be quite decent. And that's why it is important to focus on shadows not the local colors but the shadows of the object that you're painting. So when you paint, you need to observe where the shadows and in what shape the shadow is forming on its corresponding object at the bottom and on itself. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything other than trying to read the shadows, leaving the highlights and the light part of the teapot as native as possible. In this case, paper white. I'm putting a second layer of shadows where I think the darkest dark will be. As you can see, the teapot is melted into the base. I don't even bother to separate the two objects at this point because I can't see it, so I'm just going to paint what I see. I'm not going to imagine where the line is. Finally, the third part is lines. Lines to be used to create a sense of where the plane is. In this case, as you can see, the planes are horizontal and then there is a vertical plane, and the lines are used to create a sense of where in three-dimensional space the object is portraying. So let me give you an illustrative example of a cube, and we're trying to create a three-dimensional form of the cube. Of course, the cube itself will look like three-dimensional, but we can help it with some lines. So, assuming that I draw the lines as such, you can see that the lines are following the planes of the cube itself. So the top is going in a way that is, just like it's going against the grain, along the grain. Now I'm using the edge itself, and I'm using the edge to create a sense of how the line is running along the edge of the cube. Let me put in ink so that you can see it clearer. So in this case, you can see the lines are running along the edge of the cube itself. I'm not a very careful sketcher, but you get a point. So the lines are following the plane, creating a sense of how it looks like in three-dimensional space. You can put more lines if you like, just to give it a bit more texture and so on. I hope you get the idea here. So there you have it, the three things to create form in the simplest way I know: gradation, shadows, and lines. I hope this video helps you in some way to make better urban sketches, or even generically better sketches, better three-dimensional sense of your sketch, so that it is not flat and it is more impactful. Well, have a good day wherever you are. Peace. Yeah.